Hey Sweet Friends, my name is Rachel and this is Rock City Cookies. Today we have a set of cookies that I know if you are not a part of a certain niche, you would never know exactly why I made these cookies. Many of you probably think this just looks like a set of patriotic stars, and it absolutely could be. But I actually made this set because it is the logo for the American Girl dolls. And my client's daughter was having an American Girl doll themed birthday. So she just wanted the red stars to match the party decorations. And I love that American Girl dolls are still a thing. When I was a kid, I read all of the books and I loved them so much. We only had just a few characters back then. Now it's way more inclusive. There's an American Girl doll character in a set of books that go with every different type of background. And it's just inspiring that they have fully embraced all of humanity. So I love that it's still a thing. And I love that little girls are still having birthday parties with that theme. But if you are not in the American Girl doll world, if you don't think that you're ever going to get an order for these, which trust me, I've had many orders throughout the years with this exact theme. In fact, I'm making one next week. So don't count it out. It is still very popular. But even if you will never ever make these American Girl doll cookies, this technique and design is an easy one to add to any patriotic set for any occasion. So sit back, relax, and let's talk about how I made these cookies. Welcome to Rock City Cookies, where we talk about all things cookies. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified when we upload a new video. Thanks for watching. Okay, to start, I had to go get my cookie cutters because I have talked about this set so many times, but it is one of my, if not my most used set of cookie cutters. I use these cookie cutters every single week and almost in every single set that I do. And it is my stack of round circle cookie cutters. These bad boys have been through a lot and they still look as good as they did on the day that I bought them. Very, very high quality. And do you see how many you get? For one super low price, you get all of these cookie cutters and you get the container that they come in. They come with a lid, and so you can store them all together and they last forever and they're so good. I get asked often what size cookie cutters I'm using in my video, and it kind of varies. I use anywhere from 3 inches to 4 inches depending on the size of the cookie cutter, depending on what other designs I have in the set. I tend to always try to match sizes based on what I'm doing. And here my most used sizes are the 3rd one down, the 4th one down, and the 5th one down. So kind of these 3 middle sizes right here. And if you pull them out, they say on the side of them their sizes. So it's etched in there. So this one is my most used, and it's what I'm using in the video here, and it's 3¼ inch. So, and you can kind of see it's about the size of my palm. So this is the one I use for most of my designs, but I have to say I definitely use this one a lot too, and it's just the 3-inch one. It just depends on what I'm doing. With this set, it was just all circles. There was nothing else in it, so I went ahead and went with the 3¼ so they were getting a substantial cookie for their order. But if I have a lot of different sizes and I'm trying to balance them out, if I have some bigger, some smaller, then I'll typically use the 3-inch one, especially if there's not a lot of work that I'm doing on the top of the cookie. If I have a lot of design going on the top of the cookie, I'm going to go with the bigger cookie so that I have room for the additional designs. But for the most part, I usually either use the 3-inch one here or the 3¼ but the 3¼ is my go-to size. But I use the smaller ones too for guides, just for other things. So I definitely use almost every single size in this set, just in different ways. So I'll link these in the description box below. They're on Amazon. Highly recommend getting a set like these. So as I was talking to you, you saw me outline my cookie and you saw me flood my cookie. So my outline consistency is a thick consistency. My flood consistency is what I do to cover my cookie. And I had a friend ask me the other day, what is a flood? So if you are new here or new to the cookie world, a flood is just the base of a cookie. So it is when you cover your cookie completely, that's called your flood. And that is going to be a thin, watered down icing. So in order to get it to blend together, to kind of smooth out, you have to add water to your roll icing. Otherwise, it'll stay thick. So when you add that water to your icing, it gets thinner and thinner and thinner. So you have to add it slowly. And then when you get the texture that you want, the consistency that you want, that you know that you can do an entire surface of a cookie, that's called flooding or a flood consistency. So after I've outlined and flooded, I'm going to let that dry in front of a fan for a little while so that I can then come back and do the top part of my cookie without having to worry about picking up my cookie and cracking the icing. Because if you move your cookie too soon after you flooded it, you could crack crack your icing because it's not dry far enough and it's not stable enough to move. Or when you're just working and if you pick it up and you accidentally touch it with your thumb or anything like that, you could puncture through your icing, which I've done many times and it's really devastating. So just try to make sure that your cookie has had plenty of drying time to be able to withstand you working on top of it and also to be able to be fine when you're moving it and not cause any damage to your cookie at all. With a projector, I am going to project a star, the exact star from the American Girl logo onto my cookie. Now, again, this can be a patriotic cookie so easily. You would never ever know this is the American Girl doll logo because it's just a star. So again, feel free to use this for patriotic sets. This does not have to be an American Girl doll cookie, but I am going to project my star onto my cookie for a couple of reasons. With my projector, I can size the star accurately to my cookie. That way I'm getting the exact width of my cookie to really maximize that look, that impact of having the star on top of my cookie. I want it to go from edge to edge. To project an actual image, you're going to have symmetry, you're going to have cohesiveness because every single cookie is going to look the exact same. You're not winging it, you're not trying to figure it out as you go. Every single star will look exactly the same on every single cookie, which really allows you to deliver a wow in your pictures and in person. So definitely take your time. If you have a projector, project an image, find an image, project it onto your cookie, outline multiple cookies at a time so you're not having to turn on and off your projector. Go ahead and do all of your outlining first and then come back and flood that inner portion of your cookie later so that then you can work faster to knock out these steps. With this particular design, it had an outside star and an inside star. So I'm going to outline both of those areas. I'm going to be leaving the inside part of the star empty, but I am going to try to help prevent craters by doing some thick icing on the inside of my star. And this is just randomly done inside of my star outline just to give my icing on top of my cookie just a little bit of reinforcement to help prevent craters. Is this 100% foolproof? No, I have done this technique many times and I have still had craters. However, it does help. I really do think it helps to reinforce your icing. One of the reasons why we think that we get craters in our icing is because your icing that's underneath your detail work on top, it's wanting to pull the moisture from your icing. And so in doing so, it is like creating a pit inside of your new icing, the detail icing. And that pit is what causes your icing to break and fall through. And it's actual craters in your icing. It's really, really sad and frustrating. And I still get them all the time. But this process does help. I had 0 craters this day on these cookies. Not a single cookie did I have craters on. So I recommend trying it. It may seem silly. It may seem like an extra step, but I definitely recommend trying it. After you have done the squiggly all the way through your outline, then you're going to use a medium consistency icing. Now, this does not need to be as thin as your flood icing. So this white does not need to be as thin as the red was. And you can tell it's a little bit thicker because as I'm icing my cookie, it's not completely smoothing out. It is going to take some work from my scribe tool to get it completely smoothed out. But your scribe tool is already going to be trying to get air bubbles out anyway. So if you're using that scribe tool, just kind of move it around, kind of shake that icing as you're jiggling and shaking the icing, it will smooth out. And then you have a beautiful star ready to dry. Again, I put these under a fan and I allow them to dry. Now, thankfully, the detail work doesn't take as long as your flood does to dry. That base part takes quite a while to dry completely all the way through. The details don't take that long. So I usually, when I have this kind of design, this is a dream, by the way, my order for this day to only have this kind of design to do over and over again, it was a complete dream. It was so easy. But I was able to take this particular design. I worked on it in the morning. I've got all my cookies flooded. And then in the afternoon, I was able to come back, do all of these stars, and I was completely done for the day. It was wonderful. I then let all of my cookies dry under a fan for a few more hours after I've finished putting the detail work on them. Then I usually at night, I will turn off my fan and just let my cookies air dry for the remainder of the evening. The next day is when I will photograph my cookies. I'll take videos of my cookies and then I will heat seal them, package them up so they're nice and safe and they are protected from any more air coming on them so they won't get dried out. They won't get too hard. I will heat seal them. And then if I need to package them to ship, which 99% of my orders are not local. So I ship 99% of my cookies. So most of my cookies after they've been heat sealed, I will then bubble wrap each individual cookie and then I will place them in a box and I will get them ready for shipment. And that's really all this design was. It's very, very simple. My red here is a combination of super red and red, and that is from the Hobby Lobby colors. I always hesitate telling y'all exactly what colors I use for my sets because usually my icing is a mixture of old icing, because when you are done with the set and you have any icing left over, you stick that icing into a freezer and then you pull back that icing and you recolor it for later needs. Icing frozen lasts a very long time. So I will pull out that icing that I have from another set, a pink icing, a red icing. I have transformed many different colors into other colors. So, but in this case, I would take a pink or a red, an existing red, or some sort of peach or something like that. And I will take that color and then I will add more food coloring to it. I will add fresh icing into it, and then I will color it exactly as I need. So it's really hard for me to tell you exactly how I achieve different colors because I'm using old icing and I use Hobby Lobby colors. And if you don't have a Hobby Lobby near you, or if you don't use those colors, it's a little difficult to tell you what combination of colors to use. But in this case, I do a combination of super red and red. Super red is my favorite red. Red will get you a deeper red, more like a blood color. Super red will get you a brighter red like this, but I still use a combination of both. And if you need a really deep red, you need to add a little bit of black to it. But that's it. That's how I achieved the red. I didn't have to color the white icing. It was just straight from my mixer. Fantastic. I love whenever I have white icing. It's the easiest to do. And our cookies are done. Thanks so much for hanging around this week for our red patriotic American Girl doll cookies. I hope you learned something in this video. Next week, we are doing a bee themed. This particular set of cookies, this design, this theme is my best seller. I have sold more of this design than I have any other designs that I have ever created. So the bee theme is still very live, very well, very popular. You will make a lot of money if you have a bee theme offering for your clients. So hopefully this will help you to see what I have done and what has been very popular seller for me. Maybe you can duplicate some of those designs for yourself and for your clients. So I will see you next week for that design and those tutorial videos. Thanks so much for watching, sweet friends. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.